If you thought day one of free agency, the tampering period, had a lot of action, well then day two, oh, it surpassed that. But not everybody came out of day two better than when it started. So who are some of the big fantasy football losers from day two of free agency? Here we go. This is not a comprehensive list. This is just a few of the names that I think took a hit to their value on day two of free agency. Starting off with Mac Jones, he lost one of his top wide receivers from last year, Jacoby Myers, who decided to go to Las Vegas on a 3-year deal. New England was already suffering from a lack of weapons. Damian Harris is probably gone via free agency. They traded Jonnu Smith the other day, and now they lose Jacoby Myers as well. So you gotta think the Patriots have something else in mind, because if not, your first round quarterback from a couple years ago doesn't have much to work with. Bringing Bill O'Brien on board as your offensive coordinator was a huge win. Getting rid of all of Mac Jones's weapons is a huge loss. So the draft, free agency, maybe Adam Thielen, who knows? They've got to bring some more guys in, but as it stands right now, losing Jacoby Myers for me is a big loss for Mac Jones. What about Elijah Moore for the New York Jets? Listen, Aaron Rodgers, the rumor mill turning about him heading to New York. Side note, as of this recording, nothing had been announced yet. We don't know what's happening with Aaron Rodgers. But now, not only have the New York Jets already signed Allen Lazard to a 4-year, $44 million deal, but apparently there's this shopping list for Aaron Rodgers that would include other names coming with him to the Jets. Allen Lazard was one of them. Randall Cobb is listed. It's saying that Mercedes Lewis, tight end that's played with him for a while, he could potentially be an option that Aaron Rodgers wants to come play with him. And the big one, Odell Beckham Jr. So while Garrett Wilson will more than likely be fine because he's just too good not to be fine, Elijah Moore right now is going to be regulated to bench duties, it looks like. Honestly, if I'm an NFL team, I'm calling the New York Jets and I am trying to trade for Elijah Moore as much as possible. And if that happens, maybe he regains some value, but as of now, if he stays in New York, he is not anywhere close to being fantasy viable for 2023. There's probably not many of you out there that thought Desmond Ridder was going to be your starting quarterback for your fantasy leagues, but he still took a hit in day two. Atlanta decided to sign Taylor Heinecke as his backup quarterback for $14 million over 2 years. Now that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but for a backup quarterback, that's actually a pretty large contract. You know what that signals to me? Yeah, Desmond Ridder is the guy going forward, but Atlanta is signing a capable backup to take his place if he can't get the job done. Does that mean he'll have a short leash and not be able to make a mistake? No, not really, but it still means that at any point in time, they could move to Taylor Heinecke if they really feel like that he can do a better job than Desmond Ridder. Personally, I don't like offenses with young quarterbacks that are going to be on a short string. And then on top of that, we know that this is going to be a run-heavy offense as well. Heck, Bijan Robinson at number 8 to Atlanta makes a lot of sense, even if it doesn't happen. So maybe not a whole lot of passing upside, a short leash, not great numbers last year. Well, I'm not knocking Desmond Ridder at all. I don't think he's that bad of a quarterback. He did need some longer time to develop, but now going into this season as the starter and having Taylor Heinecke look over your shoulder, whew, that's not a position I want my young quarterback to be in. Miles Sanders seems to be headed out the door in Philadelphia, and as of this recording, it's not official yet. But for me, the writing is on the wall. I had Miles Sanders actually probably headed out of Philadelphia anyway, but then they inked Rashad Penny yesterday to a 1-year deal. Now, you might be saying, Kyle, Rashad Penny's always hurt, and I get that. He has had awful injury problems since entering the NFL. But I think he's going to be the guy going into the year. And you'll still have Kenneth Gainwell. There's a possibility you'll still have Boston Scott. And then I would not be surprised if they used a day 2 pick on a running back. But the biggest reason that Miles Sanders probably is not back is going to be on the defensive side of the ball. The Philadelphia Eagles have already lost a couple of key defenders from last year's team, and they had to shell out money to bring back James Bradberry. There's still a possibility that Darius Slay could also be traded, which would be another other hole on defense they would need to fill. There's a few defensive options that they still need to try and retain right now. And if they need the money to do that, Miles Sanders sure as heck isn't getting it. Now, the reason Miles Sanders is a loser for me is because honestly, where are you going to go where you're in a better situation? One of the top running offenses in all of football, one of the top offensive lines in all of football, and tons of work at the goal line. I'm sorry, but if you were getting that in Philadelphia, I don't know where else you're going to get that, and that's why he's a big loser for me today. Again, I only touched on a few of the signings and a few of the happenings yesterday. There was still a whole lot more that went on, so down in the comments, let me know what one of your favorite under the radar moves was. And as always, before you get out of here, you got to hit that like button for me. You got to subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Become a part of the nation today. I'm going to get out of here. All of you, peace out, Headliner Nation. Stay safe and healthy, and I'll see y'all on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.